On the 4th of March 2018, in a quiet English town of Salisbury, just a few days before the Russian presidential elections, "Hello police, I think there are 2 dead people on a park bench." Soon the first respondent, a British police officer, "They're still breathing." Arrgh! The unconscious man was no ordinary person. His name was Sergei Skripal, and he was a former Russian colonel in the military agency GRU. The woman with him was his daughter Yulia, who had just the previous day flown down from Moscow to visit her father. And what was it that made the 2 of them unconscious? A military-grade chemical weapon Novichok, known to be possessed by the Russians. So lethal is this chemical that it could have affected anyone who tried to help them. No wonder Prime Minister Theresa May declared,
"This is an attack on British soil."
All fingers pointed to the Russians, especially when it was revealed that President Vladimir Putin himself had declared on national TV in 2010, "Those who betrayed their friends, whatever they got in exchange for it, those 30 pieces of silver, they will choke on it." Skripal fit the bill perfectly. For 5 years until he retired, he worked as a spy for the Brits. Arrested in 2004 on suspicion for working for the Brits, he was sentenced to 13 years in jail after he admitted his guilt, in exchange for payment of $100,000. But he got a lucky break when in 2010, "You are a lucky man. They are swapping you for Russian spies caught in America." 10 Russian spies were exchanged, which included the famous American Anna Chapman. But the days of the Cold War were supposed to be over. Russia and the West were supposed to be allies, which is why Britain was particularly aghast.
Likely that Putin himself ordered it.
Nonsense.
Moscow's denials are increasingly absurd.
Show evidence or apologize. This is not the first instance of Russian agents being specifically targeted on British soil. In 2006, former KGB agent Alexander Litvinenko met his old KGB pals in London. "Oh, Andrei Dimitri, good to see you. Have some healthy green tea in this cold British weather." Unknown to Litvinenko, his tea had been spiked. "This radioactive polonium will kill him and automatically decay in the human body. It will be untraceable." 23 days later, he was dead. Then there was Alexander Peripilenchi in 2012, allegedly poisoned with a hard-to-detect plant. Boris Berezovsky in 2013, found dead in a bathroom with a scarf around his neck. All this poisoning, especially Litvinenko's, had also ended up poisoning British-Russian relations. With this new attack, it became worse. In an eerie coincidence, Strike Back, a TV series aired just a few months before, featured a scene where an undercover Russian scientist allegedly kills his colleagues using Novichok. Kremlin's denials, though, have some logic. Russian polls were to be held days later on March 18th. Why would they want to do anything to diminish Putin's victory, which was anyway a foregone conclusion? Russia is also hosting the prestigious Football World Cup in May. They would not want this bad publicity to spoil their image at a time like this.
No ministers or members of the British royal family will attend the World Cup.
Even the nitty-gritties differ. In other attacks, they have used biodegradable poisons. Why would they use a non-decaying substance like Novichok this time? There's yet another reason, which is the strongest yet.
Putin did not have a motive to get the Skripals poisoned, because that would have jeopardized future swaps of arrested spies between Russia and the West.
Scientists at UK's defense lab that stores chemical agents is only 12 kilometers away from Salisbury.
They are under extreme government pressure to say that the poison was Russian.
Being a lethal substance, sophisticated facilities would have been required to make and transport this nerve agent. Only a government-backed agency could have performed this operation. Whether Putin knew about it beforehand or not, or whether rogue agents did it independently, 21 nations ganged up to expel 126 Russian diplomats, spies, which resulted in a tit-for-tat action. India and China didn't expel anyone.
Oh, too many people don't know who to spy on.
Once in critical condition, Skripal is recovering in hospital.
Yulia has been discharged and taken to an undisclosed location where she will be extensively questioned by British police.
With Putin winning for the fourth time and US-Russian ties in cold storage, looks like the days of the Cold War are back. Can you name some famous spies in history without googling?
Bisbo's limerick. The Cold War's back, baby, of that take note. Where the CIA and KGB are at each other's throats. A poisoning here instills some fear. Will it escalate or do they only gloat?